How do you deal with fears, anxiety, or maybe depression nowadays? As you know, people usually just run to doctors, run to GP to get medication, to get some drugs, thinking this is the way how they can heal themselves. Well, let me tell you something very special. Today, I have Judah the Demand, and because the very first session with Eamon Mc Grenaghan was so successful, we decided to do another session on how you can heal your fear, anxiety, and depression without drugs. And Eamon, he knows exactly what he talks about because he's not only a spiritual healer, he's also an empath and also the founder of the Helexus system. And this is exactly what Eamon will tell us today about, which can help you to heal your fears, anxiety, and depression. And Eamon, welcome to my studio. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I'm so grateful and thankful to have you today with me again.
Always a pleasure, Olga. Thanks for having me on your show. We had a great experience last time. I look forward to something similar today.
It will be exciting because I had really great feedback and people were asking about you. And I was like, oh, don't you worry. He's coming. He's coming. So it's really exciting to see you back today with us. And I really wonder, everybody else who is watching us right now, whether it is Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, because we're across 3 platforms, where are you joining us from? Because Eamon today is not in Thailand anymore. Eamon, would you like to share where are you based right this moment?
Yeah, I'm in Poland at the moment. After I talked to you, where I was in Koh Lanta, which is an island off the coast of Thailand, we ended up back in Bangkok for 2 weeks. And about a week ago, we were back in Poland, and I'm at a place now called Jelena, which is kind of like a touristy part of Poland. It's very beautiful. It's kind of on the border with the Czech Republic. So in the wintertime, there's a lot of skiing, and right now there's a lot of people doing walking and trekking, and it's a beautiful place. It's nice and sunny. It's a nice place to be. I do hope to get back to Ireland shortly, but they have a quarantine period of 14 days still in place. So whenever that ends, I'll go back.
Yeah, and Eamon, this is the thing nowadays, no matter where you are, we have to really double check, triple check about where are we traveling, because the entire world is living right now in the fear. And this is really a scary place to be, because when you are living in the fear of getting coronavirus or getting into quarantine or maybe get caught because you're traveling around, this is really not healthy. And as we know, well, you and I would definitely know that. And I hope those who are watching us right now also know that our thoughts are really affecting how we are feeling. So, Eamon, how right now do you think, and why right now do you think we should pay more attention than ever to actually healing ourselves with our natural powers than ever before?
Well, first of all, Olga, I think probably as a result of COVID-19 and what's been happening around it, there are more people in fear right now than ever before on this planet. They're in fear of catching the disease. They're in fear because they know somebody that has caught it and had a hard time. They're in fear because of their livelihoods, because they might have lost a business or been close to losing a business. They're in fear because they're worried about their jobs when they're going to go back to work. So it's a very difficult time for a lot of people.
Yes.
And what's happening is, what I have found, because I deal with fear and anxiety on a daily basis and depression with people that come to me on a one-to-one basis, because I can work remotely. Thank God, across the internet, because the kind of work I do is done at a quantum level. It uses energies that exist all around us to recreate things that have been knocked out of place in the energy body of the person being affected, whether that be by fear, anxiety, or depression. And what happens is, if you think of your mind as being a bit like a computer system has software that needs to run on it. And when that software gets a virus, the computer has problems working correctly. Your brain is a bit like the computer. Your mind is the software that runs the computer. And the viruses are the fear-based thoughts and things that you create and that come in from outside as a result of your perception as to what's going on, as to what's happening. And each of those negative perceptions that you have embeds a negative energy into your energy field, and that negative energy has an impact. Over time, it builds up. It becomes like a snowball effect, and it can become overwhelming, such that when you get up in the morning, your first thoughts are fearful, and when you go to bed at night, your last thoughts are fearful. And of course, because that's being applied into your subconscious mind, it just becomes worse and worse. And I found, having talked to people on a regular basis about conventional medicines, they don't seem to work very well. And the reason they don't work is because if you actually do any research on it, conventional medicine tends to affect two neurotransmitters within your system. One of them is called GABA, and the other one is called serotonin. And what happens is, medicines can put one of those neurotransmitters out of balance, which means that long-term, the effects of fear, anxiety, and depression can actually build up again. The symptoms of them can build up after initially being relieved for a short term. A lot of people, the first thing they tell me when they ask for help from me is that they have given up on the medicines because it nulled them to life, because it suppresses your ability to feel things, your nervous system, your central nervous system. Not only do you become numb to fear and anxiety, you become numb to everything. Mm-hmm. And people want to experience life. They want to be involved. We all do. That's why we're here, after all. What we don't want is to be overwhelmed by negative images, negative thoughts, and negative energies. And that's where I come in. I'm able to remove those from a person's system using spiritual techniques that actually date back more than 2,000 years. And once I've removed them, I'm able to teach the person how to keep those negative energies out of their energy system on a daily basis, so that it doesn't snowball again. It doesn't have the negative effect that it has been having up to now. So what I do is very unconventional, but what I can say is, from the testimonials and things, if you want to look at my website, healingwithaimon.com, it does work. And it does work even if people have suffered from depression for years. Relief after, as soon as one session, maybe 2 sessions, they start to see things begin to change.
It is quite remarkable how, even though it's so powerful, and I'm definitely the person who knows about this, because, well, Eamon, I've worked with you so many times, and you were helping me to clean up my energy and do this spiritual cleaning, which I must say is really a remarkable experience. But I'm still surprised how very little amount of people know about that. Like, we know about stuff like gravity. We don't argue with gravity. We don't try to understand gravity. We do explain gravity, but we all know there is gravity. Then we also know there's electricity, and we all know you press the button and then light bulbs goes on, unless you need to change the light bulb, or maybe there is some problem in a circuit of electricity. But at the same time, people very rarely pay attention to their own spiritual well-being and how important it is to clean up their energy and to look after themselves, because that impacts their health in terms of having anxiety, fears, or depression. And I'm so happy you are on this great mission of actually almost like awakening people and helping people to understand that they don't have to turn into medication. And
no, indeed, and you hit the nail on the head there, Olga, because 400 or 500 years ago, we were all much more connected into the spiritual side of things than we are right now. Now, a lot of people incorrectly associate the word spiritual with religion.
yes,
And while there is that aspect of it, that's not what spirituality is about. Spirituality is about your faith and belief that there is an afterlife beyond this, and that there are energies and forces around that can help you to do things that you can't do yourself. And we are energetic beings. Like, if you look at what's happening at the moment through quantum physics, it's only reconfirming what mystics have been
Yeah.
teaching for 5, 10,000 years. And that is that everything is light energy. And what we see as a physical thing is basically a condensed form of light energy. It's low vibration light energy. But when the energy gets to a higher vibration, it becomes what we class as something in the light realm or the spiritual realm, which makes it invisible, hard to see. But it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And
Yes.
there are many dimensions, multi dimensions around us, in which forces exist and act either for our good or for our detriment. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, at the moment, there is a lot of detrimental energy there because we have incredible powers to create things with our imaginations and our minds. And we either do that consciously or unconsciously. Most people are doing it unconsciously. And guess what? When you are fearful, as most people are on this planet at the moment, and you go to sleep, do you think you're creating unconsciously? Do you think you're creating positive energies or positive images or negative images? You're creating lots of negativity, lots of negative things that will exist in an energy environment after you wake up. And those negative things that you've created are there then to, I wouldn't say torment you, but they are there to make your life more difficult than it needs to be. So many mystics, so many people have confirmed that we are all co-creators of what we perceive around us. But not many people realize that you can also co-create the negative energies that are having a massive impact. And most people do that compulsively, unconsciously, because they are not aware of what they're doing. They're not aware of what's happening in their head and their heart. And they're not aware that they can change things just by changing their perception and their outlook to life.
Mm-hmm.
But again, these are the teachings that were common practice a couple of thousand years ago. Not
Wow.
anymore, thanks to science. What actually happened was originally religion took over and basically said, if it's not in this book, we call this book the Bible, the Torah, whatever. If it's not in this book, it doesn't exist. And so we bought into that. And then what happened is science came along and basically said, if it's not in these books, it doesn't exist. And so we bought into that. But unfortunately, what happens with both those scenarios is you're being taught not to go inside to find out what's true, because that's where the answer lies, inside you. You're being taught to look outside and to look for a solution based on what somebody else is going to deliver to you.
Mm-hmm.
In my research, in my experience, and since I came aboard and started doing these healings, it's become very obvious to me that the original message, the original Christian message as passed down 2,000 years ago, was not one of, as it's being taught now, but one that was all about going inside. It was more like the Buddhist tradition, based on going inside to find the divine part of you, if you like, that sits inside us all, and to use that energy to heal ourselves, to bring light to the world, and to heal other people. What I'm able to do, I'm fortunate enough to do, thanks to, I don't know, gifts, if you like, that have been given, is I'm able to bring that light forth within a person to an extent where healing starts to happen on that person. And I compare it to, imagine you're a vehicle like a car, and imagine your battery is very low. The energy source from inside is very low because it hasn't been charged up in a long time.
Yeah.
And you're feeling quite run down, and you find it difficult to start the engine every day because the battery's low. And suppose then somebody comes along with a tractor battery or a lorry battery and connects their two leads to your battery in your car. The car bursts into life. It starts, the alternator starts to charge the battery again. And all of a sudden, you see things in a different way. All of a sudden, healing starts to happen. Energy starts to flow. Divine energy starts to come in through your chakras where it wasn't before. negative energies are removed from the system, and you get a whole new outlook in life. Everything becomes more blissful, is the best way to describe it. For some people, that can happen very fast. For some people, there's a bit of work required, depending on traumatic events and things that have happened through life that have made their battery low to start with, that have put barriers in the way of their own divine car battery, if you like, being recharged on a daily basis. So it's, I must say, I do feel blessed to be able to help people on a daily basis the way I do. And most of it is around helping them to get over things that have happened in the past, to forgive people that have hurt them in the past, and to forgive themselves for the things they've done and said about themselves in the past, because all those things lower your vibrational energy, lower your ability to connect to that divine part of you, because once that connection is made, anything is possible. Everything is possible.
I love that. I really love that. And I love the fact that you are so giving in these terms. You don't just say like, it's only me who can do that. Everybody can do that, but it's about connecting to yourself. And I also know that today you are so generous, because for those who are staying till the very end with us, we're going to be doing one of your sessions. Isn't it, Eamon?
That's true, because what happens is, because traumatic events have been happening to you your whole life, even from the age of 2 or 3. Like a traumatic event to a 3-year-old is when they run up to daddy's knee, because daddy is the one that loves them most in their world. But they don't realize daddy's had too much to drink the night before, and he's got a bit of a hangover, and he kind of just brushes you away and says something like, "Oh, leave me alone," something like that, but you fall on your ass. And that, having daddy push you back so you fall in your ass and you hurt yourself, is a traumatic event when you're 3 years old. But something as simple as that can still be affecting you when you're 50 years old, when you're 55 years old. And it's only when you realize what the impact of something like being pushed away when you're small, or what somebody said to you. Somebody could have said, that dress doesn't suit you because it makes you look fat. And all of a sudden you've got issues in your head that you're too fat, even if you're not. And this happens all the time to people, and it creates an imprint. I call it like a negative energy imprint that is embedded in your energy body, the energy field that exists around us all. And when you get enough of those imprints in there, backing each other up, then you get a problem, because that's what creates anxiety, stress, and fear. And if none of that is actually addressed in time, you end up depressed, and you can end up with self-harm thoughts and addictive personalities and things like this. It's all at an energy level first. Everything happens at an energy level before it has an impact at a mental level, and because of the body-mind connection, then a physical level. So when you clear things at an energetic, spiritual level, it will affect your mind. Your mind then becomes peaceful. And once your mind becomes peaceful, that's the sign that you have nothing negative attached to your energy body. So all your energy input points that we call chakras are working correctly. And if they work correctly, then the energy, the divine energy that exists all around us, the healing energy that in the past has been referred to by all kinds of labels, including the Holy Spirit and life force energy and universe energy. It doesn't matter what label you put on it, it's energy that we can benefit from, providing we can access it in a pure way. And what happens is that energy starts to flow through you. And as it flows through you, it reconnects automatically. It regenerates cells that need to be regenerated. It rebalances things that have been put out of balance, and it supplies information to organs that don't have that information and have been damaged in some way because they don't have the information at a cellular level they require to heal. What you need to understand is that energy is information. They're both the same, and the body requires both. Every cell in your body has a need for information, and energy. And it needs the correct frequencies of energy and the correct types of information. Good news is it's all there, it's all available. All we need to do is take the barriers away that we have put mentally in our system as a result of perceptions of as to what's happening around us. We just need to take them out of the way and let the energy come in and let it do what it's naturally going to do, which is heal. Mm-hmm. Because we have all come here with the ability not just to heal ourselves, but to live a life of health and abundance. But you're never going to do that from a position of fear.
True.
And so the first thing we do as part of healing is to get rid of fear that's in a person's mind, that's in a person's head, that's in their system, as I call it. I keep referring to the word system because, as you know from my previous talk in this show, I used to be in IT, and I look at the physical body, the mind, and the spiritual body, and the emotional aspects of it all as one big system. Mm-hmm. A bit like the computer is a system because it's got software, programs, hardware, power supply, the whole lot called a system. And we are a system. What I'm going to do before the end of this session is for anybody on it that's watching, within 5 minutes, I'm going to clear your energy body of all negativity that's in it. And as a result of that, you're going to feel peace of mind. You're going to feel a quietness inside your head that some people have told me they can't remember ever having felt before, because it's so long since they were not exposed to negativity and have had their energy bodies completely cleared. In the old days, go on.
No, this is so exciting. I'm saying this is so shocking how actually it can affect you once you clear everything out. That's really, really good.
In the old days, in the old days, the term they used to use for an energy body clearing is an exorcism, right? Yeah.
What's that?
Because an exorcism is when your energy body gets so polluted that you lose control of your mental capabilities, your ability to focus, your ability to do things yourself, because there's voices in the head, etc., happening. Mm-hmm. People say they're oppressed or they're possessed. Mm-hmm. And what happened then was they had a cleansing done on their energy body by healers that would have classed themselves as exorcists as well. But it's a cleansing exercise. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that anybody on this call is to that extent, but what I will say is that everybody that got into the state where they needed an exorcism started off with fear, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, low vibrations to begin with. Those are the initial steps, if you like, that take you to the point where you lose control as to what's happening around you in life. That's what happens.
That's interesting. Okay. But it definitely makes sense, actually. Definitely makes sense. And by the way, those who are wondering how did Eamon got from IT career to being a healer, you can type Eamon Mc Grenaghan on YouTube and my name, Olga Geidane, and you will hear the entire story of Eamon sharing his journey and what happened, because it was quite an interesting way how you actually got in touch with your gift and with your talent. So, but yeah, I don't want to take much time today because today we have a different agenda, but it would be wonderful if people could actually watch your journey and learn more how you actually got into that. That's wonderful. So, Eamon, I'm not sure how about your time today. Do you want to start the session now? Do you want to wait until a little bit later? How do you feel about this?
If there's people have any questions with regards to anything I said, maybe I wouldn't mind taking some questions. If anybody has any questions they'd like to put in.
Okay.
Since we're on air.
Yeah, across all platforms. I don't see questions, but I do have a comment from Howard on YouTube saying good afternoon, and he's vowing Poland, his favorite country, and he knows Jelenia Gora apparently. So that's good. That's good. Actually, can relate a little bit. Yes, and also I could see just now that for some reason LinkedIn I cannot see comments from LinkedIn right this moment, but I'll check on them later, but they're not showing up. It could be technical glitch. Sometimes it just happens. And also maybe because, as I know the comment from one of our sessions, Eamon, I remember you said, Olga, of course internet drops and of course things don't work because right now we're working on energies. So maybe because LinkedIn is so professional network, maybe that's why I cannot see any comments from them. It could be some fearing.
Maybe. But what I have come to accept now that I have been doing the energy healing side of things for the past 5 years is that we are all influenced so much by the energies of what happens around us, the energies of the places we visit, the energies of every object that you touch, the energies of the people you come into contact with. I have had cases, I've had people come to me where they have had, shall we say, the wrong partner. And they didn't realize at the time that they hooked up with this partner that this partner had certain problems. And it was only after that they hooked up with this one case in particular, it was only after this girl hooked up with this partner that she realized that he had a drug problem and a gambling problem. But because of the energetic exchange that happened during intimacy, during sex, she ended up being exposed to these energies and took on board herself both those problems. And he got clear. He got clean of both issues. And the minute he got clean, he didn't want anything to her.
Because he passed it away to her.
Yeah. Because she became a lower vibration than him because of a death in the family that happened shortly after she met him. And because of the death, that brought her vibration very, very low. And because it was lower than his, the problems, the programs of a negative nature, if you like, that were in his energy body migrated across to her. And those programs got embedded in her energy body and they started to create problems in her life. She started drinking like spirits and stuff, whereas before she wouldn't even have a glass of wine. And
wow.
But once she got clear, once she understood what was happening, and once she understood how it happened, and we got her clear, everything got reset. She went back to normal. She stopped drinking. She stopped having any kind of issues with regards gambling or anything like that. But we are all energy bodies, and we're all influenced by energy. And the simplest way for people to know that is, and we've all experienced it, you've been in a room with a couple of people and you go away and you feel absolutely drained. You feel, oh my God, you know, I just feel completely sucked out of energy. I feel terrible. And that's because somebody in the room was taking the positive energy you have away from you and using it for their purposes. And so when you know spiritual hygiene, when you know how to protect yourself from these kind of energy vampires, when you know how to protect yourself from negative energies coming in and how to clear yourself on a daily basis, which is what I teach people when they do one-to-ones and things, everything changes. Everything changes. You feel more alive, more energetic. You get the joy back in life you didn't have before. And so to give you an idea what it feels like to have a peaceful mind, what we can do now is we can do a short healing session.
That's exciting. Yes, I'm looking forward to this.
So it's very simple. All I need you to do is ideally you need to be in a quiet place for the next 4 or 5 minutes, somewhere where you're not going to be interrupted, and somewhere where you can sit in a chair, a high back chair, so you can sit in a chair with both feet firmly on the ground. Because you're an electrical system, it's very good if you're grounded, so the energies that are going to be passed to you through this call can vibrate and go through your body correctly. So if you have any thick shoes on, take them off. You can be in your socks or in your bare feet, but have both feet on the ground. Keep your back completely straight in the chair. Yeah. and have both hands so they're facing upwards and resting on the tops of your legs. So
Mm-hmm.
they're completely facing upwards. Okay. Now, Olga, you have a little piece of music that I sent you just for this, for the
Yes.
purpose of me doing the healing, so people know when it's finished, because when the music stops, it will have finished.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I need everybody that's watching this to do, and it doesn't matter if you're watching it in the replay or watching it live, it works. Why? Because the energy that I am transmitting to you is happening as a light transmission through the quantum field, and it will affect anybody whose intention on this call is to heal some part of their life. So close your eyes, take a
Okay.
deep breath in, breathe out slowly. Take another deep breath in, breathe out slowly. Take a third deep breath in, breathe out slowly. All right, focus on your breath as you breathe in and out slowly, and keep your eyes closed until you hear my voice asking you to open them again.
Okay. And would you like to play with the music?
Yeah. Everything changes. Everything changes. Okay. So open your eyes. Everything changes.
Sorry, because the volume was up. It just replayed what was before on Facebook. But yeah.
That's okay. So I'd like to ask the people watching, the viewers, to let us know if they felt anything. If you go inside your head now, ask yourself the question, is it quiet or is it busy like it was before? Is it completely peaceful and calm, or is it busy? Do you feel fearful now, or do you feel solid, grounded, conscious, confident?
Whilst we're waiting for the comments, I'll tell you how I felt, because it was quite interesting feeling. I had sensation somehow on the forehead, like it was a bit tingling.
Fear?
It wasn't, yeah, and it wasn't there before last time. Maybe because I was more conscious last time about the actual music and everything to play. Maybe that's why today I was more relaxed, because I knew obviously it's gonna work out because we did last time. But yes, it was really interesting feeling. And personally myself, I feel very calm. Would be that the right word? Like it's really peaceful in my head. This is how I feel. But what I can see, people say peaceful as well, and easy. That's interesting comment. Yes, peaceful, easy. Oh, how are they saying? I definitely felt something best described as tingling sensation. Oh, there we go. I do feel very calm now. Yes, we have calms and easy and peaceful. Oh, that's
Peace.
interesting.
Yeah, ease, peace, and calm are very important because, as I said, that's the starting point for healing to happen. That's a sign that your energy body is clear and is able to feed the physical body in order for healing to start happening. Otherwise, it's a bit like trying to drink polluted water in order to heal yourself. If
Yes.
your energy body is full of negative stuff, full of tension, full of fear, full of anxiety, you can't do anything with that energy that's going to create some kind of healing at a physical level. What most people have, unfortunately, is holes in their energy field as a result of traumatic events that have happened. And because these holes exist, negative energy is able to come back into the field, even though I have cleared it here so that you can see what it feels like to have a clear mind. And as a result of that, what you've got to be able to do is clear it on a daily basis yourself, which is what I teach people to do. And also to identify and close the holes in the energy body so that a minimum amount of negative energy is able to get in to start with. And again, that tends to take a one-to-one session because it's during that we're able to identify the trauma in your life that made that hole open in the energy body to start with. And it's only through identifying that, becoming aware of what the cause of those holes are we able to close them? And as a result of closing them, change everything that's happening around you at an energy level. And what most people don't realize is that what happens in your environment, the potential that you have to attract events, people, and opportunities to your life all depends on the quality of energy that you generate around you on a daily basis. So by working on yourself in a spiritual way, you can actually change everybody that's around you without them even being aware they're being changed. Because as you lift your energy frequency, it has a positive effect on everybody around you, and it draws into you other people of a similar vibration. So if you're had a lot of bad luck, you are the type of person that constantly seems to be having relationships with the wrong person, chances are there's something there at an energy level that needs to be addressed, something that you need to look at, something that needs to be taken care of in order for things to change, in order for things to be different from what they are now.
Yeah. And as I said earlier, especially we should be aware when we're in touch or in relationships or in a close proximity of people who are at lower vibration, because then we actually get that as well. And it's quite remarkable how people say you are what you eat. You are what you drink. You are what you read. But actually, you also are the average of 5 people who are in your circle, intellectually, financially, in terms of how aspirational they are, how many goals they have, but also in terms of energy and spiritual untidiness, if we can call it that way. Because if they are cluttered, if they are not spiritually clean, guess what? You'll become one of them as well. So that's really remarkable. But quite like the comment from Howard here, which is, I'm really grateful for this comment, Howard. Thank you so much for sharing that. I remember a few bad things from the past that still bother me many years later. One that goes back 50 years ago. They come into my mind randomly for no obvious reason. I would love for this to stop. Wow. This is really interesting comment. What do you think, Eamon? Why is that? I'm dying to say my opinion on this. But what do you think about this? Why is this event appearing?
We all have a spiritual intelligence, a divine intelligence that is referred to sometimes as higher self, spiritual self. When you go off path or you do things that don't serve your highest good, that intelligence tries to get in contact with you through dreams, through memories, to put you back on path, to put you back on the path that you came here to execute, whatever that was. And one of the ways they do that is to get memories, such as in your case. Another way is to have those memories constantly recur in dreams. And what happens is when people refuse to do anything about these messages that are being sent, spiritual side of themselves, what happens is the mind gets involved and starts to create a physical ailment in the body that will make it such that the person has no choice but to deal with the issue. And this is why you might have read about so many people that have recovered from cancer and things like that, really bad, diseases and almost fatal illnesses, to be thankful for the lessons that they learned as a result of having to go through it.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because their spiritual side that wanted them to get back on path was able to break through when that person had to face the challenge, had to face the near-death experience. They were able to break through conscious normality and get the message through. And as a result of that message getting through, the person made changes in their life which began to serve their highest good. And that, Harold, is what this memory that you keep having come up is trying to direct you towards. It's trying to direct you to see that something happened back then 50 years ago. You stepped around it and it's been holding you back ever since. And what you can do is, if you identify what it is you were supposed to have learned by that incident and that now, the memory will be there and you will move forward in life in a way you haven't been up to now. And again, this is the kind of thing that happens when I see people on a one-to-one basis, and I do it remotely through sessions like this. All I need to be able to do is visually connect with the person. And what happens is we connect on a spiritual way so that information is given to me to be passed on to the person. And we can verify if that is the information that they require through body movements that the person actually does on the other end of the call. So it's a very interesting experience for the people on it, and one that, again, you never forget. You never forget a healing session that changes everything.
Yeah. And I can definitely vouch for that, because myself, even though I look after myself and I have great work and life balance, and I really, really watch who is in my inner circle and what happens around me, which I'm really proud of, because it took me ages to be so clear about what exactly is happening in my life. But even though still because of I communicate with so many people. I go on these live shows every day, twice a day now as well, once in the morning, once in the afternoon time. So of course there's a lot of energy exchange. And I remember the last session which we had with you, Eamon, I remember I felt absolutely rejuvenated. So Howard, I would definitely really highly recommend myself personally, because, well, we definitely did few sessions with Eamon, and what is amazing, then eventually you can learn from Eamon how to do it yourself. And also, Eamon, you can tell maybe more about the tool which you're using, because that actually tool people can get and they can do it themselves, isn't it?
Yeah, I discovered a way that allowed people to tap into the spiritual energies inside and to pull it forward themselves, to amplify whatever was there themselves. And the way that it manifests is through a piece of jewelry that has been consecrated energetically in a certain way to add a vibration to your energy field, a divine vibration that resonates with the divine part of you. This energy tool, or this spiritual piece of jewelry, if you like, I call a helixus. Helixus, why? Because that was what was channeled to me while I was meditating on how to do this healing. And what happens is, once you have this piece of jewelry on you on a regular basis, and once you use it on a daily basis, your body will move by itself. Your spiritual body will direct your physical body to do movements and things that will allow it to heal in a way that no third-party person direct you to do. And why I say that is because I've worked with lots of people with back problems. And some of these people have been going to chiropractors for years. I have one guy in Dublin who is spending more than €5,000 on chiropractors. And once he started using the Helixus healing system, which is connecting to the spiritual side of himself and directing healing to happen, what happened was his body started to move and contort in different ways himself to fix his back. And it's interesting to watch somebody moving by themselves and them telling you that they're not doing the movements, that it feels like there is someone else there moving them, there is something else there moving them. And what happens is, after all these movements, these contortions, etc., the person, 95% feels better than they did before. 5% they feel the same, but 95% they feel better. Why? Because your physical body has everything it needs and knows exactly what it needs in order to heal. And if it's a back problem, it's able to contort itself into whatever way it needs to free up the nerves, to free the bones or whatever it is that's causing the problem. And it's able to do it far better than a chiropractor, no matter how experienced that chiropractor is, because the chiropractor is still working on guessing. He's using his experience and guesswork to work out what's probably wrong with you, and then he's manipulating your body in a physical way to correct what he believes is the problem. When you do this yourself, you don't need to believe anything. You don't need to know anything about the problem, because your physical body knows anyway, and your spiritual body uses that information to create a healing. And the healing happens quite incredibly. I have videos of this on both my websites, helixus.com and healingwitheamon.com. Both have videos of a girl who is using a piece of jewelry, a helixus pendant, in order to heal her back. And as she says in the video herself, it's weird because she's not doing the movements. The movements are being done on her. I'm not doing the movements. I'm just facilitating. I'm just there facilitating on this particular case. But once you learn the system, this is something you can do yourself. It's a self-healing system. And I very much believe in people taking responsibility and control for their own. Gone are the days where we should be relying on third-party people to medicines to deliver health to us, because as you can see, it's very easy for those third-party people to get overwhelmed. It's very easy at the moment for them not to have the solutions, the medicines to do the healing. It's funny, Olga and I were both talking about this COVID stuff just before coming on, and a bit like Olga, I have no fear of catching this thing. If I do catch it, I know my physical body has whatever's required to fight it off. But at the same time, I also believe that when your energy vibration is high enough, certain events and things don't happen to you that would happen otherwise. So when you keep, everything's energy. When you work on the spiritual side of you and keep your energy vibration very high, everything else health-wise takes care of itself.
True. Because again, everything in our body is like effortless clock, which already started when we were born. Heart is beating effortlessly the entire life. Blood is flowing through our veins through the entire life. And we inhale and automatically air goes through lungs to every other part of our body. So pretty much everything is happening effortlessly. But the minute you are injured, the minute something happened to your body, this when actually things go out of order. And the same in a spiritual sense. The minute you're out of order spiritually, things just don't work out. So it's really important to not only learn how to do it, but actually also apply. And as I said, everybody who's watching us right now or watching the replay later on, if you're really experiencing this, like Eamon said earlier on, that you are not able to focus, if you feel just not yourself. Like my thing was, I was having just too busy mind, and it felt like just too many thoughts, and I can't even stop them. I felt like I can't even stop them. I was thinking, wow, how fast I'm thinking. It was incredible. So, but you might have your own things. So please get in touch with Eamon, because he not only helped me, he also helped many of friends of mine who actually I know personally as well. And I'm sure he can help you as well, because it is incredible, absolutely incredible how you feel. And I remember, Eamon, our discussion before the previous show, when it was after our spiritual healing, because we had spiritual healing in the morning, and in afternoon time we had this live session. And it was quite interesting how, as you know, for several years, there was some events happening in my life which were affecting me spiritually. And as you said, I can feel there is a build-up. And I also could feel it myself, but I was, as we all are, too busy, too busy to solve them. But I remember that after that, I felt clean, and I felt so peaceful, and I felt like I am back home. And it's quite even hard to express what does it mean being back home, but it just felt very peaceful, very calm, very fresh. So, I mean, it would be stupid not to contact Eamon, but obviously, there is such a thing when you can feel so much calmer, so much better, so much peaceful, so much in touch with yourself. Because very often we don't achieve things, we don't get effortlessly to what we want to really be or do or have, because we are cluttered spiritually.
Common symptoms of people that have these fearful energies attached, and a lot of people won't even admit it sometimes to themselves. But if you find in your life, for instance, that you're not as focused as you used to be, your attention isn't as good, if you feel that you can't feel things in life like you used to, it's been a long time since you felt joy and happiness in your life, if you feel more anxious now than you have before, these are symptoms. Other symptoms are lack of sleep, inability to sleep well through the night. A lot of people wake up around 3 p.m. on us, 3:30 p.m. They wake up and have difficulty going back to sleep. Other people, no matter how much sleep they do have, they wake up completely lethargic, struggle to move through life, struggle to get out of bed, don't see the point.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is this isn't something that's age dependent at all. This isn't like other illnesses. I find now there's a lot of young people in particular, people below the age of 18, that are struggling to find why they want to go on in life, because they're having a look at what the world is to them, and then things like, I don't want to go to college. They're looking at their dad. Their dad's working, I don't know, 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
And okay, they have a fancy house and a nice car and all that. But they're saying, listen, I don't want to go to college for years to get qualified, to have to work 100 hours a week so I can buy a house like this and then not see my kids like my dad doesn't see me, type of thing. And
Yeah.
it's all bringing them low. It's making them feel low. It's making them feel anxious, making them feel that they have to compete to get whatever jobs are right there, that the jobs that are right there today won't tomorrow. Look what's happened with the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
That the world is changing so fast, and with AI and everything else, self-driving lorries, self-driving vehicles, so many jobs are going to completely disappear in the
Yeah.
next 10 years. And
Yeah.
as all that change is happening, we as people are going to have to become very strong inside and very self-confident and very sure of their energies, very sure of your energy self in order to get through it. Because
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to do it using the same tools and techniques as you have up until now. Why? Because the world isn't like it used to be.
Yeah.
And it's changing faster and faster. And you only have to happen in the period, the last 6 months, to see how quick things can change.
That's,
The more
that's true.
grounded you are, the more spiritually in touch with things you are, the less fearful you are. In fact, you're not fearful at all. If you're connected with the spiritual side of you, you're literally fearless. And when you make decisions and do things from a point of a fearless mind, you will always make a better decision than any other way you can come up when
Love
you're
that.
choosing things.
Wow, Eamon, I must say I could listen to you for ages and days and hours. But I'm not sure if you have been noticing, but we've been here for a while. And I'm very mindful of your time and also the time of everybody who is watching us right now across platforms. Well, Eamon, thank you so very much for not only magical and amazing session, which we had, the healing session with you, but also for your wisdom in your time. Just as you said earlier, if you really want to succeed and just really feel peaceful, it's time to clean yourself spiritually. And everybody who is watching us today, what I'll do, I'll share the links to how to get in touch with Eamon. So actually you can heal yourself and you can feel that you are 100%. Nothing can be better than actually being absolutely pure 100%. But Eamon, thank you so very much for coming today again for the second time to this show. Do the people demand when people were asking, are you having Eamon back? Yes, we just had. We just had. So thank you so very much for coming today. I appreciate you. And I definitely wish to have you back at some point, because what you're sharing is so powerful. And I know that we're going internationally with these shows because people listen to us in different countries. So I think your message must be heard internationally. So thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. And lots of thank yous actually on platforms as well. Howard specifically says, thank you, Eamon. Very useful hour. That's right, Howard. It was actually an hour.
Well, thanks very much, Olga, for having me on. It's always easy to do a show with you. There's a great energy connection there, and I'm sure the people that follow you, nothing happens by chance, nothing happens by coincidence. Everybody that is following this and follows you, they're on a path to spiritual enlightenment, to reconnecting to a part of themselves that they might have forgotten before.
Yeah.
I wish everybody on the call light, love, and peace, and I hope to see you again on another call.
How wonderful. Thank you so very much. Wish you all the best. Take care then, everyone.